Good morning. I wrote a ghost play once called Genevive Stickney's Ghost in the year of 2013. Apparently, there is a ghost named Genevive Stickney who hanged herself within her home elevator back in the 1940s, and later on, then her home turned into the Bowers Harbor Inn, and it became a culture visit. And some say that they saw Genevieve Stickney's ghost. So I wrote the play and finished it. And later on, I found out that Genevieve Stickney's never hung herself, but she had died at the Pantlind Hotel in 1947 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Well, I still have my play script, and I changed the title saying Reflections of a Mistress. The three principal actresses is Genevive Stickney, Frances Wellington, and Marybeth Hazelworth. And later on I found out the very true mistress in this story in Traverse City, Michigan in 2013. Act 1, Scene 3.
Charles then put his arm around me and we walked outside to the veranda where we sat and talked for many hours. I still remember her name, Annabella Louise Lorenzo.
Mrs. Wellington, are you all right?
Annabella Louise Lorenzo. Isn't that a beautiful name?
Yes, it is.
I feel ashamed.
Why?
I haven't thought of her for nearly 40 years. That's horrible of me, don't you think?
No, of course not. I couldn't tell you that what I ate for lunch last Monday.
But I am. And I know it's ridiculous to blame myself for something I didn't do.
It was an act of God and nothing more.
I know this, but there was something I overlooked that could have saved her. I just know there was.
Mrs. Wellington, the Spanish flu killed millions. No one's blaming you for her death. She was just one of the unlucky ones. I read somewhere, death never forewarns the weary. It just comes and goes, as it will. That's the only thing that happened that day.
Yes, you're right. I haven't been this emotional since my husband died.
Memories can do that.
Mr. Hathorne, will you please call me by my first name?
Sure. You've got to call me by mine, though.
Do you care for more coffee, Brian?
Yeah, I could use a refill, Frances. Thank you. I'm curious. Why the name Frances when you could have been Juanita?
Juanita. Isn't it obvious?
If it is, it sailed way, way over my head.
You'll laugh after I tell you, but please promise you won't.
Cross my heart and hope to die.
Don't ever say that.
All right, monkey see, monkey do. If I lie, I turn to goo.
Please be serious, Brian.
Okay, I promise not to laugh. I'm all ears. Why, Frances?
It's Charles' middle name.
Oh, I'm not the brightest bulb in the room, am I? Frances, yeah, that's perfect.
You think so?
Sure, it's rather clever. It must have meant a lot to you.
He did. Unfortunately, more than others would have wanted.
Is that why you changed your identity?
No, I didn't say that. Be careful, Ryan, not to dig holes that you might fall into.
I'll keep that in mind. What was he like?
He was bigger than life. Oh, I don't think I can do justice to his memory after so many years. We're not supposed to be talking about him anyway. Ask me something else. Well, aren't you going to ask me another question?
No. No, I'm not. I want to hear about Charles and why you don't like others knowing about him.
He's off limits, remember?
Maybe we should change the rules. I'd rather see a blurry reflection than nothing at all. A train whistle is heard as she tilts her head, listening. Nearby?
Well, there's one behind the grove of trees, but it's been out of service for many years now.
It could be a ghost train.
It's not funny. I heard a train whistle, Brian.
Sorry, but without a sense of humor, I'd go batty.
There it is again.
She stands holding her arms close to her chest. Frances, take a deep breath.
I'm feeling sick, Brian. I think I'm going to fall.
Here, I've got you. I've seen this many times before, with people being channeled through by entities controlling what they see or hear. Something has a hold of you, Frances. Trust me. What are you seeing or hearing right now?
I see a train with passengers boarding and station porters pushing luggage carts. And there's a young girl running alongside the train into the arms of her waiting mother. Yes, it's a train. It's the 20th Century Unlimited. It's preparing to depart at what appears to be the New York Grand Central Terminal. I'm standing near the train conductor as he motions others to board.
Are you boarding?
Yes. I'm walking down a long aisle where others are seated, spiritually talking. I'm moving to the diner car. I must be hallucinating.
She breaks from her trance.
Brian, I just want us to go for a walk. I need fresh air. Let's go outside where I can collect my thoughts.
Yes, before we go, but what significance is there with the diner car? At this point, the lights slowly rise on Mary Beth, wearing a traveling dress and hat, moving to a small table with 2 chairs exactly as Frances describes it.
I'm walking inside, wearing my favorite traveling dress and hat. I stop and look for an empty table as colored waiters hurry from table to table carrying trays of food and drink with clouds of cigarette and cigar smoke filling everywhere. I see a vacant table to my right, and I notice a handsome young man smiling up at me. I tilt my hat to him and then shyly turn away. I'm sitting and looking out the window thinking what it will feel like once I leave New York, as the tall buildings disappear like nightmares that quickly fade when awakening from a deep and troubled sleep.
It's Genevieve. She wants you to remember something. Whatever it is, she won't be satisfied until you find it. What else are you seeing?
He's here. I see him from a distance.
Charles appears, standing at a distance. Who is it?
Charles.
You're traveling together?
Yes, to Chicago.
She breaks from her trance again.
Chicago! We went there first before going to northern Michigan. I remember now. But let's go on our walk. I need fresh air. Brian, I have a special place I want to share with you.
All right. Another train whistle is heard, stopping her.
That was the last train whistle. I'm looking up, and I notice him entering the dining car, walking slowly towards me. I clearly now remember how handsome he looked that day. He sat across from me smiling and he said,
Charles is wearing a three-piece pinstripe dark blue suit. Hello, my dear. I see you're comfortably situated. Our luggage is safely stored and you must be famished. Shall I order us lunch or do you prefer a drink? Oh, before I forget, here is your sleeper compartment key.
Would you mind holding it for me, sir?
I'd be happy to. There was an oversight on my reservation in not securing 2 sleeping compartments. So I'll be sitting in the main car until we arrive in Chicago.
Oh, please allow me to trade places with you. It wouldn't feel right, your having to sleep there.
No, don't trouble yourself. I insist. When it comes time for you to retire, I will use this key for your safekeeping. Is that understand?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Brian interrupts once again. Francis, did you or didn't you?
What are you talking about, Brian?
You know, 1 sleeper and 2 people.
Oh, why do men always go there? I hate to disappoint you, Brian, but nothing happened between us. I had a sound sleep, and Charles was slightly sore after having slept sitting up all night. That's not a very satisfying answer, I know, but nonetheless, it's the truth. Is there anything else in your dirty little mind of yours?
No, I think that about covers it. Yeah.
Well, let me see, where was I?
He had your key, remember?
Oh, yes. We were waiting for the final passengers to board before departing, and Charles suggested ordering food and something to drink. When I told him I wasn't hungry or thirsty, he leaned towards me, asking,
Are you not feeling well, Marybeth?
I feel fine, but the thought of leaving New York has me anxiously waiting to see if it fades to a distant memory.
What an oblique observation on a sunny day. Was New York that unpleasant to you?
No, it has nothing to do with the city, sir.
Then what moves you to say such a thing?
It's just an annoyance I wish to forget.
Don't I detect a slight hesitation? It wouldn't be difficult stopping this train's departure.
That won't be necessary, sir.
Marybeth, what precisely is bothering you? You're not having second thoughts, are you?
No, sir. I'm grateful to be traveling elsewhere, and I definitely haven't changed my mind.
In looking at your face, it reminds me of when I first met Genevieve, when she was barely 20. She had been courted nearly 2 years by Lawrence Willoughby, and her family had promised her hand in marriage 4 years before that. I'm fortunately not too old to remember how youthful passions dominate one's every breathing thought. Is that what's in play here? Do you have a significant other you're sorrowfully leaving behind?
In a manner of speaking, there is someone.
Please forgive my curiosity, but did this someone choose another admirer over you?
No, he didn't.
Didn't? So this leaves me to believe it's of your own choosing?
Oh, no, never that, sir.
I'm completely confused. Are all women in the world this difficult to understand?
I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't think so, sir.
Will you please, for my sanity's sake, share this gentleman's name with me?
Ronald McPherson.
Ronald McPherson. That's a good, strong Irish name. But the luck of the Irish he hasn't, which is proof in his losing you. Well, we won't allow this sorrowful memory to dampen our spirits, shall we? It's a sore subject and better discussed another day.
Thank you, sir.
While we wait, would you enjoy hearing a little about my charming life?
Yes, I would.
After I tell you, I'll let you be the judge of how charmingly it truly is. When Genevieve and I first met, she was a precious ripe plum ready for picking, and I was a vivacious 31-year-old bachelor, anxiously sweeping her into matrimony within a Boston cathedral. Prior to our marriage, I worked steadily with my father in his steel mill, and soon inherited his entire estate upon his untimely death, several months before my wedding.
Oh no, what did he die from?
It, unfortunately, was his heart.
Had he shown signs of sickness leading up to that?
No, not even one day. He was fit to his very end, and that wonderful man worked more diligently than any other I've ever known or seen. Then I found myself wealthier than I ever imagined and grew weary from pushing Boston forged steel. My restless ambition soon got the best of me and guided us elsewhere, all the way to the windy city of Chicago.
Chicago. I can't wait until we arrive there. I've always heard such wonderful things about it. Did you live there long, sir?
No, not too terribly long, but once there, I invested in harvesting lumber, which surprisingly became more profitable than steel ever was, for America was in need of lumber and rapidly building cities everywhere. Then, after an exhausting first year of profit, we greatly needed a vacation. One of my dear friends recommended our taking the Pear Marquette Railway to Petoskey in northern Michigan. It proved to be thoroughly enjoyable and eventually led us into purchasing the property we own to this day on the shores of West Grand Traverse Bay.
It sounds lovely. I can't wait to see it, sir.
Yes, it was quite beautiful then, and our first years were the happiest days of my life. But I soon discovered paradise can be cruelly deceiving and surprisingly disheartening.
I don't understand.
I don't expect you to. Marybeth, it's necessary I inform you about a very sad state of affairs concerning my wife. I think it's only fair to forewarn you before we depart of her chronic condition that will surely have a substantial effect on you. Within 3 years after arriving to our new home, she was with child and unexpectedly suffered a miscarriage, sending her into hysterical tantrums, which tragically left her mental state broken in disrepair. I soon realized our loss was more than our child, for her stability became questionable, reducing my once lovely wife into an incapacitated stranger to me. I sought the finest medical minds to hopefully correct her dysfunction, but they only advised institutionalizing her, which I firmly rejected. I've sheltered and protected her all these years, never considering sending her away, but in the bargain, the pain I've endured has weighed heavily on me. Sounds of the train jolting and its wheels turning is heard, signaling their departure.
Do you hear that, sir? We're on our way. I'm so excited. You needn't worry, for I will provide her with the best care I'm capable of giving, and I'll do my best to alleviate your troublesome burdens, and we'll find joy tending her every need. I promise you, sir, you won't be disappointed, and I can wholeheartedly assure you of that.
You warm an old man's heart with your comforting words. You're truly a remarkable young woman, Marybeth Hazelworth.
Oh, sir, I shall remember this sight forever, and I will truly miss New York, but not its hidden memories. Oh, no, sir, never that. For those I surely shall forget. Oh, look there! Over there! There, sir! Look there! There! Look there! Look there! And there! Look there! Look there! Look there!